Psilocybin, magic mushrooms, shrooms, a Schedule 1 drug. I felt like there was a certain stigma about the drug, and most people probably aren't as knowledgeable about it. So I went to The Ohio State University to interview friends and members of the Ohio State Psychedelics Club, including the president and treasurer. Now, none of these people I'm about to interview would claim they're experts on it, but they do have a personal interest with psychedelics and psilocybin, and they have done some of their own research. You are the president of the Psychedelics Club at Ohio State, correct?
Yes.
Before you took any psilocybin or did any research on it, what was your perception or preconceived notion about the drug?
I would say, before I really learned about it, I guess I'd only ever heard about it in health class.
I had seen them in movies and stuff like that where they were kind of portrayed as a party drug, and people would do them in big groups and stuff like that. And so I kind of thought that it's a hard drug, something like that.
Before I took it, I knew nothing about it, nothing at all, other than that my sister had done it. And I don't know, I assumed that it was a hard drug, so it'd be an intense experience, but I didn't know what it entailed or if it was good or bad. I don't know. I really didn't have a lot of thoughts on it, but considering it was natural, I assumed it was, it'd be okay.
And then I did a little more research into them, and I was seeing how it can change your mind and benefit you as a person. So that's what made me a little more interested.
During any of your experiences or after or throughout any of them, how would you say psilocybin has helped you or it has hurt you?
Yeah, I would say they've actually had a big impact on my life.
For me personally, I would say for the better.
I think it's totally helped me.
I believe it's made me a more rational thinker. I'm able to kind of empathize with a lot more people. I think it has made me personally, I can't speak for everyone, I think it's made me a better person.
It still did help me realize things that I wasn't even thinking about, that were issues in my life that came up that I guess I wasn't really facing or thinking about consciously. They helped me to bring those things to the surface and deal with them and see them from a new light.
I first took mushrooms senior year of high school, and I feel that really helped me mature into my transition into college, and it really started my spiritual journey, because I was already meditating before then I took mushrooms, and my intention in it was kind of what's my destination and should I keep doing this? And it pretty much it showed me what I needed to know, and then it started my journey.
How do you feel the public should perceive them? Because I feel there is a pretty big stigma, like you mentioned earlier, about psilocybin, in that it's kind of criminal and it's a hard drug. What would you want people to know about it that they probably don't know?
Just the stuff it's able to show you about yourself and about others. You're able to become so in tune with yourself.
And if you've never done them or even done research on them, you probably won't really know exactly what they're like.
Well, I would say that for one, it's not for everybody. It's not for every single person, but I would say it has great benefits towards most people.
I definitely think the public's view on it should be different than how it is, and there's a lot of history behind that. I think people recently, with the new research coming out, people are starting to realize what these drugs psilocybin and others, MDMA, what they actually are and what they can do to help people.
It's it's a lot different than alcohol or weed, where you feel less sober. When you're on it, you feel more sober than you've ever been, and it just opens your mind up to a whole new world of perspectives and what's possible.
Coming off that, Paul Stamets, he I don't know if he coined the term neurogenesis, but
No, he didn't.
they use it, and let me know if I'm wrong. They use it a lot for like psilocybin therapy to like help people get past PTSD.
Yeah.
Do you care to explain that a little more? And then following that, have you had any personal experiences with that?
So, neurogenesis is like literally the creating of new neurons, like new brain cells, basically. And I'm pretty sure there's evidence for these drugs causing neurogenesis in brains while you're on them, which would likely lead to explain the drastic like changes in thought that come afterwards.
Yeah, I don't really fully understand the concept of neurogenesis, but in a book I read, How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan, he talks about how when you're on psychedelics, or like the tryptamine psychedelics, so like psilocybin, LSD, it like dampens your default mode network, which is like the control center of your brain, which kind of directs which pathways are usually followed. So it dampens that pathway, or dampens that control center, and then like parts of your brains that normally don't interact with each other can interact, and the more those interact, like the stronger the connections become.
100%. I last year I was going through a little rough period as well, and I had the opportunity to take psilocybin alone. It was a really challenging experience, but I think it almost speeded up. Like, I was able to recognize what I was doing wrong and how wrong the stuff I was doing was, because it really just lets you reflect upon yourself and upon your actions.
I would definitely say it helped my mental health a lot. I'd say before I did mushrooms or anything like that, I definitely had like depression, anxiety. I used to take medicine for it. And then after that, after I took them, I no longer like needed the medicine, and I weaned off of it, and like I just don't need it anymore. And I would attribute that like a good amount to mushrooms.
Would you recommend psilocybin in any amount to a close friend or family member?
Yeah, I think it can help a lot of people, especially that are like a little bit stuck.
100%. Again, everyone's different. If you're not in the right mental space, or you want to learn more about it, I would suggest doing your own research. And if you feel comfortable with it, and it's something that you think you're interested in, 100%, yeah.
Yes. I would say absolutely, like, you should do it. Even if like you don't think you have like issues, like, or like you don't feel the need to, I think it's just something to experience, just to do once, just to like, I don't know, dip your toes into. You know, if you like it, you know, you can continue. If you don't, it's fine.
Yeah, I would say like the vast majority of people I know, I would definitely recommend it to. There are definitely like cases where someone shouldn't take it. I mean, there's like schizophrenia or anything like that, bipolar. It's really not like a good thing to take, and I know some people with that, and I wouldn't recommend it to those people. But the vast majority of other people, yes, I would definitely say at least try like a small dose.